Josh Snow back. Today I'm going to talk about what was our number one pass concept, definitely our number one deep ball concept, okay, which we called Storm. A couple different variations. I'm going to talk more about the route and the scheme. I think the route is better than the scheme, but Spavital talked about this a little bit a while ago at the THSCA clinic, but what it is, it's really a backyard get open route. So, drawn on the screen, we have the single running the Storm route, and it is a get open double move vertical. Rules being, you can do any double move you want, 8 to 12 yards down the field. Can't 12 yards, you're setting the angle on a vertical or a post. Okay, at 12 yards, you cannot go outside and come back inside. You cannot go outside and come back outside. You are setting that deep ball angle for the quarterback. So, once again, any double move you want at the 8 to 12 yard mark. What ends up happening a lot for the single is we ran a lot of stops, a lot of curls, so they end up stuttering. If we had the slot running it, it would end up being a glance and go most of the time, right? Because we ran tons of glances, but those are the rules. It's nothing more than that. The slot is not going to run a post anymore. He's going to run the same 8 to 12 yard, but he's going to end up running almost like a two fader vertical. So it's not very complex. A couple different variations we had on the actual scheme is we would call the original play. So these are all 7-man, mostly all 7-man pro, however you want a 7-man pro. But the original one was Storm by the slot, and then a return route, so 15 yards down your stem, 15 yards down your stem. Q would obviously go Storm, and then he'd probably stay on the same side and go 2 to 3. Okay, the original one, that is the worst one. Where we end up going to mostly was going to be outside Storm, so the two outside guys running it, both mirrored, and the inside guy running like it would be like a 15-yard curl find space. So the quarterback would choose one of the matchups pre-snap, and then his second look would be the slot curl. My personal favorite, okay, is the single and the slot running it with the field number one coming on a 15-yard return route. So same thing, Q would choose either one or one, and our second look would be this return route down the field. Where we like these is obviously tight coverage. Okay, we love this verse one. Any sort of just one-on-one with the corner, we're good there. The slot is a little bit more limited because in man free with a rat in the hole, right, you'll be outside leverage. You end up running right back into this guy. So really for the slot, we're looking for quarters, especially like old school quarters, right, with the nickels inside. We love it because we're going to 10-yard head start, probably glancing, glowing him. Or man free with neutral leverage or even inside leverage. Okay, because we're end up doing whatever and running by him. So the routes are good. It's kind of like the vertical choice world in my mind, where the route is better than the actual concept. So what I like is actually just putting these routes on different concepts, right? So like kind of solves your issue in your deep flood. So this could be flood, same side flood with the corner route, or cross the field flood or post crosser, right? So the issue with these floods is tight coverage man free. We solve that now by putting a storm instead of the post route on it. Because, against quarters, you'll end up getting your post a lot of time anyways, but against tight man coverage, now we have somewhere for the ball to go. This is probably a route in high school you teach one guy how to do it. Same thing with vertical read, right? You have one guy you want to target. If you get one-on-one coverage, the ball is going there. It's a pretty quick throw, so I do like putting it on just whatever your favorite zone play is. Okay, it could be like snag dig, it could be whatever you are most comfortable with against all other zones. I'm now tagging the single or my best player on a storm route. So I know if I get one-on-one coverage, I'm going there with the ball, right? We're taking, if it's any sort of, we get two over there, then I'm reading this thing out, or whatever we're putting over there. So same thing with the slot on this one, right? Let's say you put DH in some sort of trips, right? Now we have a really nice stubby beater as well. If they spin out a stubby or any sort of thing like that, then we obviously like our all curls. That's just something I felt most comfortable with as we can survive the down against basically everything, right? It's not great against some things, man-free, but we're solving the man-free issue with possibly our best player one-on-one with a double move vertical. So a lot of clips of these. We ran it, the piss load. It was actually very good. It was like the thing we had the most confidence in. So There'll be some good, there'll be some bad. It's a good teach tape though. Right, so here we have both outside guys running it. These first couple I think will all be the outside guys doing it. So we're in 7-man full slide, right? It's almost always gonna be 7-man protection, even though the throw is pretty quick. And what ends up happening, right? So down here you have a stutter and go in that 8 to 12 yard mark. Beautiful, we win, take it. Up top, I think he runs an out and go. Right, so we just ran these so much in one-on-ones that they're gonna be a little bit crazy at the beginning, right? You have to kind of speed them up, say, hey, you have a really quick move at the 8 to 10, 8 to 12 yard mark, and then you're either running vertical or you're running the post. Post, expect the ball 40 yards on the hash. Same thing here. So I think we have a good look at the post on this one. Middle of the field opens up down here, so looking at the bottom of the screen, don't look at the slot. I don't know, he's just doing whatever he wants. He should be running a slot curl. Okay, so down here, we're pushing off the ball. I can't catch that corner, right? A double move's, he's zone bailing. A double move's not gonna get him. But I see the middle of the field's opening up. I'm taking my post route, right? Expecting the ball 40 yards on the hash. Up top, same thing. Right, there's no double move here because I'm catching that guy. Now it just becomes a press release. He's squatting on me. There's no reason for a double move if I know I can just run right past him. Q's choosing up top, right? He's always going to choose the left receiver on these clips. That guy is a good player, right? NFL type receiver. Down here is not, right? So we start becoming, we start discriminating with our matchups a little bit. But like I said, we're probably doing this to one guy in high school. We're teaching one guy this route. He has the freedom. He gets good at it. Beautiful. So same thing. You see a good look at the slot curl here. Don't look down here. I'm going to get to this Josh Downs clip because this is a bad clip down here. Up top, we just run past. There's no reason to do a double move. We run past. We win. Play's over. Beautiful. Okay. If we already beat him at the release, no reason to do a double move. This down here by Josh at the bottom of the screen is something we cannot do. Okay, the double move is fine. We go out, we cannot then come back in. Right, the Q cannot hold it for 15 seconds. That's gonna be an 80-yard post throw now, waiting to see what you do, and now we slow down everything else. So once you choose your direction, you have up to 12 yards to run the post or the vertical aspect. You're locked. You cannot dip back in or dip back out. They cover you. Beautiful, we'll take our check down. Same thing on 11, right? So a couple different protections, but all mostly ends up being 7-man pro. A lot of these things are being checked for man matchups or whatever. Up top, we have so here we just have two good looks at posts, right? Middle field's open, corners outside leverage. Good stem down here, the outside hip to even open up even more on the bottom of the screen. Up top's a really good look at a stutter and then the post, because he sees the middle of the field just so open. Right, so I like the routes more than I do like the actual concepts. Concepts are mirrored, the check down's never very good, but imagine running post crosser behind it or something else behind it, right? You can get as creative as you want. Good with motions. So here, imagine running post crosser down here or back to the top, right? If you had the motion in the opposite direction. It's really good because like those corners start to sit in that 8 to 12 yard mark, right? That's where most of our breaks are on the digs, the glances, the stops, the curls, that sort of world. So now we're just kind of playing off that, right? So we have a million of these. Here it is off of post crosser. I like this a little bit more. Solve some issues in both schemes, okay? Because obviously we don't like the storm world against really soft zone coverages, but that's where the floods thrive, right? So now we're kind of solving two different issues by combining these all together. You don't get much of a double move, a little bit of one here, right? But the corner squatting, I can run by. It's a first level release, just 15 yards out of the field. Beautiful. You know what we're doing. So here's a look at the slot and the single running it. I think the single gets jammed up, but we see the slot. This is where we love it. Premier nickel inside quarters. We have a 10-yard head start to do whatever we want against that safety, right? So it ends up once again being a glance and go. Here we're running a comeback for whatever reason. Should be much more of a like a return route by the single, or the field number 1 down here. Should be coming right back down his stem. Ran a pitch load of these at Ole Miss. It was a little bit more old school quarters there. Maybe something you see a little more in high school. We saw so much bracket. That's obviously not good against bracket, and so we didn't do the slot stuff as much as the single at UNC. Depends on what defenses you're saying. But if we did get old school quarters, this is obviously was going to be our number one pass play to our slot. Gap pro here, Sarkisian stuff. Same thing, so we have the single running it, like it to the, obviously we love it, FIB. We have our single running it and our slot running it. Our twins number one's running a return route up top. So important, even if you're FIB and you cut your split by the single, he's still expecting the ball 40 yards on the hash if he takes the inside post route, right? If we want to drive past him. Beautiful. Up top, we see a glancing going in. Once again, that's just what happens most of the time with the slots, is they end up throwing glancings and goes. They cover this one really nicely. So this is just the cue actually getting to the second look, which is, this is 19 to ran comeback. We did end up changing it to a return route. A little bit easier throw. The comeback, obviously to the field, this is an NFL quarterback, so you can kind of do these things. A little bit tougher, a little bit more timing, but you get more separation on the comeback. Right, there's no reason to do a double move. As you can see here by the slot, just take it vertical. It's end up being like old school verts. Right, so there's just a ton of freedom. They get really good. We were repping the piss out of it in practice and one-on-ones, that sort of thing. Q's loved it. Coordinators, we liked it because we're not, well, coordinator. We, the analysts, right, whatever, we liked it because we're not trying to guess on the best double move. Last look here. So if we had the tight end extended like we do down here, tight end does not count. We did not want our tight ends running these routes. So same rules apply. My single, we're counting this guy down here as my single is running it, and then my slot up top is both running storms. And then you get the complementary routes with the slot curl by the tight end here, down here at the bottom. And once again, this is 19, so we're going to come back. But up top would be, by number one would be a return, 15-yard return, straight down to the stem. Q is split the field in half, choose one or the other. We see a really good example of both looks here. A stutter and go down here, and a glance and go up top. This was some sort of check. I forgot the parameters of when we were checking this. Okay, maybe take quarters or whatever, but either way, we're good. And a Q would then just work his second look to that side. Right? We're not trying to cross the field. We're not trying to be Superman here and progress across the field. Keep on the same side. Whatever. So our best deep ball, the deep ball I believe the most in. Great route, not as good of a concept. Okay, but if you teach the route, you can then apply it to a million different things and start beating all sorts of coverages.